Welcome to Carter's Retro Reviews. I'm actually doing a project where I'm going back through my first lot of reviews and I'm redoing them all. Mostly because whenever I say to someone in real life, hey, check out my channel, and they see all my first ones, they're dreadful. They're uncomfortable to watch, I don't like them, and it's mostly for me. So the very first review I did was for Manx TT for the Saturn, and I still think the intro still holds up. So keep it in mind that this was the very first video that I ever did. I have uploaded onto YouTube, and I still think it's a pretty great intro. So here it is. Welcome to Carter's Retro Reviews. But before we start today's review on Manx TT, let's have a look back at the best parts of Carter's Retro Reviews so far.
Manx TT Superbike.
I've started going through my old reviews and spending time with them to see where I can improve. Turns out on just about everything. So I've gone through my first 25 reviews and am now in the process of redoing all of them. While my opinion on the game hasn't changed, I still feel like I need to go through the game again with a finer tooth comb to see if anything was missed the first time around. You know, like everything. I actually find Manx TT to be one of the unsung heroes of not just the Sega Saturn, but also in the arcade. Yes, it was a massively popular game back in the day, so why aren't games like this still being talked about? Why do I have a Facebook feed flooded with Mario and Zelda bullshit to the point of complete intolerance from too muchery, but Manx TT gets a handful of videos on YouTube and is dismissed along other great gaming titles? I remember Sega PC back in the day. Does anyone even remember that? Was I the only one buying Sega PC games? They were all really good. Even if I did have to use my mouse as a light gun for Virtual Cop, I still ate that shit up like John Candy and John Goodman at a buffet. It was released on Sega's Model 2 hardware back in 1995 and released on the Saturn in 1997. Maybe timing was the game's fault. I mean, I appreciate taking the time out to do a game properly rather than a rush job that couldn't be fixed with a quick patch like we have these days. So without the internet, just take it somewhere where it can be updated? But maybe it just took too long to come out and would have been seen much more favourably if it come out in 1996. Enough time for the console to be established and yet close enough for people to look forward to the release perhaps. When I originally did this review I gave it a 75 out of 100, so let's see how accurate that arbitrary number that I no longer give to games in my reviews is. Presentation is pretty good. Since a lot of this is present in the arcade experience, it means more when they put effort into the menu presentation before I get to see a single frame of the game. People already have a pretty good idea on what they're expecting since they've seen the game, and you want to give them some kind of wow factor when playing the game. Why not start right at the menu and give them something that's stylish and yet effective and pragmatic? Well, we have that here. It's not over the top, but it's nice right from the get-go, and the in-game presentation continues with more of the same. It's a mirror of what we saw in the arcades, but if you never got to see the game in the arcade, well, firstly, I'm sorry you have to see it this way. It was quite an experience in the arcades with plastic bikes you sit on and the whole shebang. Your position on the track is well placed, time is where it should be, and track outline is nicely placed. The only thing that makes it seem a little busy is the times. I know it's in every racing game, but its position on the screen should be at the bottom, or have the position on the bottom and move the times somewhere else. That's really my only qualm. Graphics are really good, detailing is well done, and the sense of speed is excellent. The only thing I will pick apart is the draw distance. You know how I said I played Sega PC games back in the day? I had this on PC back in the day, and while it's more or less the same, the one big difference, which was pretty clear, is the draw distance. It's clear that they'd improved upon this in the PC version. Colours look nice and no real blur. It was realistic for its time, with beautiful looking courses. Sound is mostly motorbike sound, with the soundtrack being pushed to the back somewhere. I guess it's okay. The voiceover is pretty dreadful. Gameplay is an interesting beast. On your normal controls, they handle pretty well. Well, so I thought. Then people were telling me, hey, you should play with a 3D controller because it's better, and I'm completely cynical when I hear things like that. It's like when you listen to a band and you've decided you don't like them and someone says, oh yeah, but they're much better live. It's not the sound or the atmosphere of the song I had a problem with. The songs suck. They're written by a tone-deaf teenager, and you're simply perpetuating poor taste by buying into it. While the CDs you buy for home use are sometimes used as a reminder for the great gig you went to, they're also seen as a demo of what you're likely to expect when you go see them. If I like jazz fusion, and you give me Anal Cunt to listen to, going to see them live isn't going to change my mind. Long story short, I used the 3D controller and yeah, okay, it's much better. Controls are tighter than 20 clowns in a clown car. I have two other points which I'll cover off under lasting appeal. There are two things I need to nitpick. The first is a complete lack of tracks. You have two to choose from. I mean, okay, yes, you've got the mirror tracks, but forget those for a second. Those don't count. Where's the substance? It goes hand in hand with the next problem, and that is, to begin with, I found this game a little unbalanced. How is it possible to be coming third and still run out of time? And a lot like the games from the 80s, if you're a master at this game, then you can finish this entire game in 15 to 20 minutes. And to me, that seems a little shit. I know you can spend time doing it over and over again, but your love for this game must far outweigh most games, or your tunnel vision on perfection to beat this game must be stronger than mine, because once I came first and beat the game, I couldn't give enough fucks trying to beat the times. Would I recommend this game? Even though it's a little short, it's still amazing. Plus, you're going to come back. I don't know why, but you will. I've pulled this game out every 6 months or so since I've bought it just to feel the non-existent wind through my hair and see if I've got what it takes to beat the game. So, it's a definite yes from me.